Welcome to the special effects show at Universal Studios Hollywood! I am Susan, and today you'll get a behind-the-scenes look at how we make movie magic. As you probably know, the word movie is a nickname for motion pictures, and in the early days of filmmaking, it must have truly seemed like magic. Now, in the late 1800s, the Pettibone Brothers Manufacturing Company produced magic lanterns like this one, which were widely used by traveling showmen projecting images onto white backdrops. Imagine for a moment what that must have been like. You are sitting in a dark tent. Suddenly, the white backdrop is revealed and a single image appears. Then, when seen in the right order, in the right light, and at the right speed, those images seem to come to life to create a magical new world. Please welcome my co-host, Justin!
Thank you, everyone, and thank you, Susan. From the very beginning, the basic concept behind the filmmaking process has always remained the same: to make the audience believe everything they see is real.
Today's filmmakers have more tools than ever before. High-tech cameras, super fast computers, but they still rely on a category of effects so distinctive they're known as special.
And one of the earliest forms of special effects are practical effects, which are shot on set right in front of the camera. Our first example of practical effects is Models. Universal's 1933 film, The Mummy, made use of miniature effects, including scale models, like this one here from the title sequence. Nowadays, we know that's a model because the real pyramids do not say The Mummy on the back of them. When Universal relaunched The Mummy, the Sphinx from the opening shot that you see there is this Sphinx model you see here. This is the actual model that was used in the making of the film. The attention to detail is incredible. I think Susan would agree. Models, great way to fool the camera.
Absolutely. Another filmmaking tool that also fools the camera is the glass mat. In the terrifying film The Birds, the brilliant Alfred Hitchcock had matte paintings created to achieve the eerie look he wanted for the town of Bodega Bay. Take a look at the side screens. In this literal bird's eye view of the town, only the fire and the parking lot were real. Everything else was hand-painted on glass to create a matte and then dropped in. And then the footage of the birds is incorporated to complete the effect.
So we showed you two examples of practical effects, a model and a glass mat.
And there's also a category of practical effects that involves performers and not just props. Practical stunts!
Did someone say stunts?
Please welcome our special effects stunt department!
How come we don't get an awesome entrance like that?
Those are wearing nice clothes.
Yeah, absolutely, Susan. Actors don't like getting kicked in the face.
Kicked in the face.
Like this.
Oh, wow. Could you show us that again and then break it down?
Sure. Now break it down.
Okay. Well, that's what I meant. All right. You make it set up. When staging a fight, the art of illusion is very important. All the moves have to be realistic enough to fool the camera, but without getting anybody injured, so the performers have to make it look believable. Let me set our scene. Exterior, dark alley, dead of night. A couple nefarious characters are hanging around. Ready and action!
Hey, where are you going, huh? No, you're not right there.
Needless to say, this is the kind of thing any of our friends out there should try at home, right?
That's correct.
Great job, guys. Don't worry, they'll be back. Did you notice the sound effects in that scene? The dynamic punches, the dumpster hit. Justin, what do we call those added sounds?
Foley. You might be familiar with the term Foley. The process of adding sound effects to movies after the film is shot. But do you know its origin? Jack Foley wore many hats. Director of silent films, writer of westerns, even stunt double. But when he started doing sound effects for Universal in the 20s, that's when he began to make a name for himself. For over 30 years, Jack Foley worked on Soundstage 10 here in Milan. And if he couldn't recreate a sound on his stage, he went out and got it. Using a technique called direct-to-picture, Foley and his crew would record sound effects directly to the finished film in a single take. One mistake meant they had to start the whole process all over again from the beginning. Here to help us experience what that must have been like, please welcome our first group of volunteers!
The Bauer family from Washington.
They are going to help us demonstrate how the simple items on this cart can be repurposed to sound like something completely different than you might think. For example, in Foley, a water bottle is used to articulate the sound of bones breaking. Listen to this. Pretty cool, huh, kids? You can try that at home. The water bottle part, not the actual breaking of bones. All right, let's take a look at the footage we need to Foley. It's Melissa McCarthy and Jason Bateman in Identity Thief, along with actual Universal Foley artists hard at work. Watch the side screen.
No, I have a plan.
All right, looks pretty easy. Trust me, it's not. Let's take a look at the tools they're going to be using. Over here, we have a crash box. It makes the sound of crashes. Also, shoes on sticks for the running sounds. These are rolled up phone books for the sounds of the body falls. These boxing gloves sound like the throat punch and the face slaps. And over here on the end, we have a cowbell and a metallic spoon for the sound of the toaster hit. And finally, these handcuffs sound like handcuffs. Now, I've already spoken with the Bauer family over here, so they know how to use all of these tools. Keep one eye on the clip right down over here, and when it's your turn, hit it nice and loud for the microphone. All right, Bauer family, you ready to have some fun? All right, let's roll the tape, roll sound, and action. stage. And we are going to add in audio with dialogue and score. And can we have their full interacting to playback? Great, everybody, watch the side screens.
Get over here and give me a raise. Now I have a plan.
Let's hear it
Well, Universal has made great films in every genre. The studio really made a mark over the years, creating some of the industry's most terrifying thriller and horror films. Let's take a peek. And all credit to the use of very special horror effects. Emerging from the shadows just behind me are the stars of our horror family, some of the classic Universal monsters. We have the maquettes of Dracula, Chucky and his bride, Michael Myers, Emotep from The Mummy, Phantom of the Opera, and Mother Bates. The perfect setting for our next demonstration.
Everybody say hi, Deanna!
Hi, Deanna. Hi. And Deanna, all you have to do for this is scream. So let's do a practice. Let's say that you were face to face with Norman Bates. Let's all hear how you would scream.
That's adorable. She died.
As you saw in that fight earlier, some performers have to have a very high pain threshold. So my question is, do you?
Well, do you?
This next demonstration does involve movie blood. So does anyone know what Alfred Hitchcock used for movie blood in the original Psycho? Shout it out! Right away! Chocolate syrup is right.
That's right, Psycho was a black and white movie, so they could get away with it. Nowadays, movie blood has to be much more realistic.
Thank you for giving us a hand.
Literally. Now, kids, do not try this at home.
Yeah, try it at a friend's house. Alright, so right now like this, the palm up, let's actually get that sleeve up. I'm gonna cut off a lot of his arms. Let's get that sleeve up. Here we go. Palm up, looks like it right to vein. And here we go!
Not with the machete.
Deanna, I am not gonna use this crazy machete. I have a sharper knife. So take a look at the side screens, everybody, and scream on three, Deanna. 1, 2, 3! She's okay! This is a classic cinematic horror technique, a Hollywood blood knife. Take a look, it's a false blade with a cutout for her arm. It comes out of the handle. Meanwhile, I'm squeezing movie blood from this bowl that comes out of a tube right where that notch is. Makes a big mess, but only works with a great volunteer. Give it up for Deanna!
This is realistic. I'm going backstage.
Deanna, you just come with me right over here. Now, I promised you a photo, right? And you've already got the camera set up. It looks like, no, on your phone. Yeah, I'll take your picture. Let's make sure the camera is up. There we go. All right, come with me. You get a photo with our classic Universal monsters. You can stand right up here for me. Give a spotlight. And on three, let's hear that scream one more time. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Face, Deanna. We can. Take a look, everybody. What a freaking photo of you. motion capture. To help me demonstrate mocap, welcome back my co-host, Justin! Looking good, Justin?
You gotta own it, Susan.
Yeah, let's activate our perimeter sensors, please. So the markers that are on his suit reflect light to the sensors, which then goes into the computer and captures their movements. Think we're ready? Let's see the capture on our screens. There we go. The computer connects the markers on his suit, creates the digital skeleton that you see. So you can do a T-pose.
T-pose.
Perfect. We always start with the T-pose to mark the beginning of each take. This makes it easier when we need Justin.
This is really tight, Susan.
I can see that. Take your left hand to your nose, and now your right hand. And let's do both arms one more time. So we start with some simple movements so that we can calibrate the system. That looks good, you can relax. Next we do full body movements, so start with jumping jacks. And a little bit you can just jog in place. So what digital animators do is they start with the skeleton, then they can change the aspect ratio, and on top add a wire frame. Then finally they'll add skins. Using this technology we can turn Justin into anything that we want. So Justin, we have turned you into a cuddly, friendly teddy bear.
A teddy bear?
That's right, but not just any teddy bear. You're the star of Universal's Ted.
Nice!
You're waiting outside the nightclub.
Yeah!
Alright. Keep those moves going, Justin.
Alright. Hey, Susan,
Yeah?
this is for the ladies! Yeah! Come on, ladies!
Wow! You have Jen on the internet, Justin. Ted, what do you think of the show so far?
That's why I watch these things. It's like a cool behind the scenes thing. You wouldn't know.
Thunder Buddies, Ted!
Thunder Buddies for life.
Well, let's hear for Ted and Justin. Fun fact, Seth MacFarlane had a modified mocap suit made by Phil Tippett Studios so that he could act and direct at the same time. So let's take a look at the genius behind Ted.
We were able to do TED in a completely lifelike way and to use technology in a way that it really hasn't been used to date. What that technology does so well is it takes fantastical characters and makes them as realistic in movement as possible.
As far as technology has come, with CGI and visual effects, some things just look better when they're real, like fire. Let's take a look at fire stunts in some Universal films. One of the most exciting and dangerous aspects of filmmaking is undoubtedly a fire stunt. And we're going to bring back out our top-notch stunt department to show you how they execute a live fire burn. So Chris in the center is the stunt performer we will be setting on fire. We have our coordinator Justin and Johnny acting as our safety for this demonstration. If you look at Chris's face, you may be wondering, is that guy so nervous he's sweating profusely? That is protective fire gel that he's got on all of his exposed skin areas. You may know what it's like if you miss a spot with sunscreen. Imagine if you miss a spot while on fire. Before we fuel, we check our equipment in case of a premature ignition. Copy that.
Hey, Susan, we are ready to begin.
Copy that.
Chris, you ready? Johnny, you ready?
Yeah.
Fuel it.
At the completion of the stunt, Chris will make his way to this fire blanket where he will be extinguished. At that point, we're looking for a thumbs up that he is okay. If Chris gives us a thumbs down, that is an alert to get our medical team involved. These are trained professionals using very special equipment. This is not the type of thing anyone should ever think about trying on their own. This is Chris's 18th burn, and he's going to go for 8 to 10 seconds. So we'll ask our booth to set the lights in the house. We will set our clock to 0 on the side screens. Everyone, please remain in your seats for the duration of this stunt. Whenever you're ready, Justin.
Thank you, Susan. Hey, Johnny, you ready over there?
Yeah.
Chris, ready?
Ready and action!
Light it. You're lit.
create a scene that's truly out of this world. With the help of our final volunteers, Hugo and Elua, come on. Give them a big round of applause, everybody. All the way from France, right? Excellent. Obviously, you're playing an astronaut. Do you have any fear of heights? No. Perfect answer. Then I'm going to hand you off to our coordinator, Justin. And Elua, you can come with me. I'm going to have you stand on this mark right up here. That's perfect. Now, Elua, boy, do I have a surprise for you. Coming in is our Fisher flying rig. It's a very sophisticated computer-controlled cable system that creates the illusion of flight. So it sounds complicated, don't worry, there's an app for that. All right, so I'm going to show everyone how this works. I'll disable it. We're going to use this to move him up and down, all right? And the grid to move him all around. Look at how excited she is. All right. Ooh, okay, well, I'm a little scared, but I'm going to hand you this. But I'm going to tell you what to do the whole time, okay? You and Hugo, are you dating or are you married? Married. How long have you been married? Just 3 weeks. They just got married. Congratulations. For the first time in 3 weeks, you get to be in charge of the remote control. So you can stay right here, Elua. We're going to make sure he's all set. Fantastic. But Hugo, before we start, do you have any final words for your wife of 3 weeks? He said he loves you very much. Oh, and he said he wants to take you shoe shopping in Beverly Hills tomorrow. Wow. Money is no object. There you go. Good husband. All right, let's get our back plate up. We're going to use rear projection as the special effect here. Hugo, can you face us? Okay. Yeah, the camera's up here. All right, let's take him up. And bring it to this middle line right here. Just keep her shoulders back if you can. Do you have an itch? Just keep her shoulders back and chin up. You look completely natural now. You go. Let's go with that. All right, let's move it forward. Press this and drag it past the middle line as well here. That's all you have to do. That's it right there. All right, Hugo, you're almost in the frame. Give her the big wave. Give her the big wave. Wow. All right, let's take you back. We can't even see you in the frame. So take this from here and bring it back to the square. And let's move right there. I'm going to help you, okay? I'm going to help you. You go. Keep your shoulders back, okay? Don't touch those wires. You really want to do that. All right, we'll try take 2. So bring him up a little bit more. Press this, bring it up. This mark right there. Oh, let's send him around. Let's bring him down. Bring him down. Bring him down. Keep going all the way down. Okay, this is not working, you guys. Can we bring him around? Okay, stop. All right, on the stop. Okay, press the signal and hold it. All right, hold it. Don't let go. Hugo, we are stopping everything, okay? You're going to land right here. Why don't everyone can give a big round of applause? Okay, I have to take this away from you. You want to see some counseling after 3 weeks. Alright, so do you have it now? Okay, they have it. Sit right here. Hugo, shoulders back. Shoulders back. Yeah. Sorry. Okay. They're gonna unhook him. You know what? Why don't you stay right here for me, all right? You go. I think he's laughing. He's okay.